Hello and welcome to 50 Fabulous Knits. My name is Pia. I am a Danish knitter coming to you from Dallas, Texas, where I am visiting my oldest son and his lovely and amazing family. I am, as always, very happy, very thankful that you want to spend time here with me. I hope you're knitting comfortably while I am chatting away. Today I'm actually sipping on some Christmas tea. This is from Harney & Sons, but I have a couple of other teas arriving these next few days. And this is just to say thank you so much to everyone who recommended yummy Christmas teas for me. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. So it is almost sweater weather here in Texas. Almost. I mean, some days it is. Today I am wearing my Christmas sweater for this year. It's a new design that I made. I'm calling it First Snow. And I have been talking at length about this on previous episodes, so I'm not gonna say a lot today. I'll just let you know that I am finishing up the pattern and preparing to send it out in testing one of these days. And if everything goes well, I plan on releasing the pattern on December 23rd in time for Christmas, because a few of you has been kind enough to let me know that you would like to have this as your Christmas cast on. Yeah, I can't wait to see it knit up by others. That's one of the most amazing things in the design process, is seeing how other people take your pattern and make it your own. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. This week I only have one finished object, and it's a small one. It's a Christmas stocking for little John. It is just a regular sock, a choppy sock. I was looking around for some patterns for Christmas stockings, but the patterns that I was able to find were all for much larger stockings, like the big ones that can hold a real present. This one is only for the Nisse to give John a small present every day. So this can easily hold a Paw Patrol or a Dora, or maybe even a Boy de Cara Preta, which is what he will be getting on December 1st. The Boy de Cara Preta is the black-faced bull that will come and take Brazilian kids if they don't go to sleep right away, because Dad is out in the fields and Mama's busy working. That's a lullaby. I'm learning a lot these days, yeah, but John loves the song and he loves to play it with his little toys. So on December 1st, the stocking will hold a black-faced bull for his games. I used some, I'm actually not sure if this is Drops Lima or if it is Wool of the Andes. No, I think it's some Drops Lima, but any DK worsted weight yarn will do. The only thing I wanted to make sure was that the fabric would be firm enough to actually hold a present without dragging the sock all out of proportions. I cast on 50 stitches on small circulars, size 3mm, I think. And I knit, as I said, a choppy sock. A heel with some short rows and a rounded toe. And yeah, after the knitting, I then double stitched his letter, and I embroidered some little snowberries on it. And finally, I put a little hanger here. That is just a braided band that I just pulled it through one of the stitches in the back of the sock. So super easy, super fast little project. I'm of course going to do one more for John's younger brother who will be arriving next Monday. But right now I needed to get his finished well in time before December 1st. All my projects are rather large projects, which is of course also the reason why I haven't finished anything but the little sock there. These, I showed them also last week. It's just gift bags from Hobby Lobby, a set of 2, but I'm loving them for project bags here at Christmas time. And in the first one, I have my Brise, one of my own patterns. Actually, the 2 sweaters that I have on my needles are both my own patterns that I am knitting for the 3rd or 4th or even 7th time for one of them. This is my Brise, originally made as a summer top to be knit in a linen cotton blend, but I am knitting this one in a blue-faced Leicester and silk blend. So it is super soft and drapey, but it still has some warmth to it and some sponginess from the wool. And you can see I finished the pattern on the yoke, and now I am just knitting around and stockinette, around and around and around. This one I am actually helical knitting. Long-term viewers of this podcast will know that I am not a very good knitter. I don't swatch. I don't read through my patterns before knitting. I don't helical knit anything. This is clearly a case of do as I say, not as I do, because you should swatch. Of course you should swatch, and you should helical knit when working with hand-dyed yarns, and you should always read through your pattern so you have a general idea about what is going on. But when I don't swatch, when I don't helical knit, I of course know that sometimes I will have to rip back. And with this one, I noticed that when I was changing into a new skein, that there would be a harsh line between those 2 skeins. So I simply ripped back to the end of the lace, and then I added the new skein, alternating the 2 skeins all the time so that they would just blend together naturally, and it's working. No, it is working. I just thought I saw like a little shadow, but no, it's working out beautifully. I am using the Helix knitting method because I'm not able to change to change from one skein to the other without it showing if I don't helical knit. So if I were to just drop one strand of yarn, pick up the other, and just twist them so as to not to create a hole, and knit around, and again drop and pick it up and twist them, I would end up with a visible line on my knit. But when you helical knit, and I'm sure that most, if not all of you know this, but just to be sure, because if there's one person out there who doesn't know the magic of helical knitting, I'm just gonna let you know. What you do is you start out knitting with one skein. Then when you want to add the other skein, you simply drop your working yarn, you pick up the new skein, and you start knitting. And you knit almost all the way around until you're 3 to 5 stitches from where your working yarn is hanging. Then you drop skein number 2, the yarn from that. You slip the stitches until you reach the yarn from skein number 1. Pick that up, knit with it almost all the way around, drop it, slip the stitches, and pick up the other yarn. That way you are actually knitting around in a spiral, and you don't create any holes in your fabric, and you don't create any lines where you change the skeins. So yeah, it's a miracle. It's a wonderful way of alternating skeins, and you should always alternate skeins. With a yarn like this, the main reason for doing it would be not to have a harsh line where you change from one skein to the other. But if you're using a hand-dyed yarn like this, a variegated yarn, you actually risk the colors pooling or flashing, meaning that they will not be distributed evenly. They will stack in unwanted ways, and that can also be avoided by helical knitting, alternating 2 skeins. So yeah, do as I say, not as I do, or do as I do on this project. I am loving this yarn. It is squishy, it is light, it is bouncy, it is everything that I want from a yarn. And I really love how the silk content really makes the lace pattern on the yoke stand out. It is so beautiful. It is yarn that I have received as a generous gift from Dream in Color Yarns. And let me just see if I skeined up everything, so I can't even show you. I caked it up. I can't even show you what it looks like in the skein, but just look at the glow of colors. I adore this yarn. It is their Suzette base, and the colorway is called Rochambeau, and this is their label, Dream in Color Yarns. Lovely yarn that I really enjoy working with. And it's so much fun to revisit this pattern. It's been a while since I knit myself a brise, so I am really enjoying knitting it again. And in my other Christmas bag, I have another of my own patterns. This is the 7th edition of my family sweater, which is crazy, but yeah, I love this pattern. It's so versatile. You can use it for anything. And this time I am using it. I'm at a really awkward point. In just, I think, 3 or 4 rows, I get to separate body and sleeves, but I really wanted to record right now while everyone were out of the house. So yeah, you'll get this scrunched up look. This time I am knitting it in 1 color instead of 2, and I am omitting the Estonian braids that the original pattern has here on the yoke. So it's going to be a very plain and simple raglan sweater, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a roll neck. Because I'm a bit unsure of how to construct it so that it really fits, I have I'm sorry, that was Tyson, the house dog. Hope no one got seasick. I have chosen to do a provisional cast on so that I have the live stitches for the neckline up here. That way I can knit the entire sweater, and then I can try it on, see how it fits, and I can work on the rolled neck, because I don't know, maybe I can just knit up from these stitches and all will be fine. Maybe I'll have to do some decreases and then increases after, just to hold it up, or maybe I even have to bind off these stitches like the old regular bind off, where you just pull the stitches over each other, because that will create like a firm edge that will help keep the sweater up. I'm gonna have to experiment with it, and that's why I thought it would be nice to have it as a separate work, not connecting to the rest of the sweater. But yeah, I am almost ready to separate for the sleeves, and this is just like not a knit that I need to pay any kind of attention to. Well, these past couple of rows I have been counting. Am I where I'm supposed to be? But as soon as I separate for the sleeves, I'm just gonna knit around and around and around. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that very, very much. It's nice to be able to just go on autopilot, relax, lean back, kick back, have some fun, and still allow my hands to be knitting. The yarn that I'm using is some Drops Merino Extra Fine, which is a very budget friendly, very versatile yarn. It is a DK worsted weight. It's a superwash merino, which means that it will grow with blocking. So I have gone down a needle size, and I'm also trying to be mindful of my knitting. I am a loose knitter, but I really try to just tighten up my gauge a little bit as I go, because that way it's not going to grow a lot. Of course, I will need to be careful while blocking it and washing it, but as long as I'm being careful, it shouldn't be a problem. But yes, a lovely yarn, and I really like this color because it's the kind of color that will change hue depending on what I'm wearing. So if I'm wearing something black or gray, it will look grayish, and if I wear something brown, it will look brownish. And it's a color that I really enjoy. It is color number 06, and here is the label for the Drops Merino Extra Fine. It is, as I said, a super budget friendly, easy to work with yarn. This pattern could easily be worked also in something like Wool of the Andes to create a warmer, more rustic garment. But this one I actually intend to use indoors, which is why I have chosen a superwash merino, because it's a lot less warm. I also have a brand new cast on. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. It's the first time I've been in the States for Thanksgiving, and I really enjoyed myself a lot. I did stay in with my daughter-in-law and my little grandson. We were all invited to a Thanksgiving dinner at one of my son's friend's house. But Maria, my daughter-in-law, is very, very pregnant. So we decided to stay in and take it easy. We spent the day in our pajamas, eating takeout and candy. Oh, Twizzlers, I love Twizzlers. Watching Christmas movies and just having a good time. And at one point, actually in the morning, I was sorting through all the yarn that I have over here in order to be able to get into my closet to find a pair of socks. And my heart just found these two. Just look at these colors together. These two together would go with almost everything that I have in my wardrobe, and yet be different from everything that I have. I have lots of grays, but I do not have a lot of colored green in my wardrobe. But the way that these two colors play together, I was just loving it. As I sat there with them, I was like, they need to become something together. And then I remembered I had watched the Caddy Jack's podcast where Jackie had knit a half and half wrap in DK weight. This is DK weight. This is a BFL with, is it 15% silk? Those eyes, yeah. 85% blue faced Leicester and 15% silk, which is what gives the color the glow. And which will also give the knit a wonderful drape. Jackie said that you could probably get away with 3 skeins. Maybe you'd need a little more, but 3 to 4 skeins in each color. I only had 3 of each, but I decided that I would be okay, and I can see that I am going to be okay. Because, yeah, I cast on. And this is what I knit up yesterday. It just flies off the needle. And all of this is not even 1 skein, so I will be fine with the 3 skeins in each color for sure. Yeah. Now, if there's any of you who have been looking at the half and half and thinking, I would like one of those, but maybe feeling a little intimidated by the idea of 6 skeins of fingering you would have to knit up, go ahead and cast it on in DK weight. It is squishy, it is lovely, and it flies off the needle. I did as Jackie recommended. I cast on for the smaller size, 190 stitches, and I am pretty sure that it will be the same size as the large one knit in a fingering weight. So yeah, it is just look how this color knits up. Of course, I had to start with the very colorful side before going into the more neutral. Just look at how these colors play. Isn't it just amazing? And it has the exact drape that I was hoping for. I'm on a relatively large needle. I am on a 5mm, just again to make sure that it is drapey and light, that it doesn't get stiff, because that's not what I want for my half and half. I want it to be really drapey and lovely like the other ones that I already knit. So yeah, I am enjoying this a lot. I have been talking, I know, about the half and half wrap probably for hours. It is a lovely project. It is such a soothing and calming knit. It's so simple and yet so gratifying, and yeah, you're just sitting there gently moving stitches from one side to the other, and this beautiful fabric just magically appears in your hands. It is a little bit like magic. Plus, it is so, I just love that, yeah, the rows are getting shorter and shorter, and soon I will be beginning to look forward to changing colors and see what happens when I do that. Yeah. 3rd time is a charm for sure, but 1st and 2nd were also quite lovely knits. The yarn is from Dream in Color yarn, the yarn that I talked about in the beginning, the same yarn that I used for my Brise. This is on a different base, so it is just, I am amazed at their work. Oh, just look at these colors. They are beautiful. Yeah. And as I said, I will be using 3 skeins of each. That will be plenty to make myself a half and half again. Oh, I should probably tell you the colorways. This is mermaid shoes, which makes total sense. Just look at it. It is mermaid shoes, right? It's beautiful. And this one is called Prince William. So yeah, thoroughly enjoying this. I'm also looking forward to having this as my go-to knit during the festive season, because I know that as soon as we come back to Denmark to celebrate Christmas there with the family and the friends, there's gonna be a lot of dinners and nights out and lunches and celebrations of all kinds. And it will be lovely to have this one to bring along so I can just sit there and quietly and knit my way through this lovely pattern. I do realize that it's gonna grow. It's not gonna be portable like a sock, which you often use as you're going out knit. But honestly, I don't mind carrying a large project bag in order to be able to sit and work on this. I love it, and I know that I will love the finished object too. So yeah, having a lot of fun with that. Some unexpected fun, because seriously, I had no plans of casting on more projects. I have enough on my needles, and I have mindless projects that I can carry around. But when I sat there Thanksgiving morning with this yarn and the idea just came to me, I thought, there is such a thing as a Christmas cast on. It is so important that you have something very special to cast on Christmas morning. So maybe there is also something that is called a Thanksgiving cast on, and I just don't know about it. It would be terrible to miss out on a beautiful tradition just because I didn't know enough, right? I don't need excuses to cast on, but that was kind of my thought process, because I was trying to control myself and finish what I had on my needles, and actually one of those knits also has a deadline on it. But I am so happy that I just gave in to my heart's desires, and I am really enjoying my third half and half. It's interesting that the things that I have on my needles that I'm actively working on are all things that I have knit before. It's my third brise, my third half and half, and my 7th family sweater. So what do you know? I guess I just want something that I'm familiar with, something that I can just knit without worrying too much about it. For sure, I am enjoying myself. I hope that you're enjoying yourself. I am so happy to be able to pop in every week just to say hi and keep in touch. I am very, very happy for each and every one of you who watches. I am thrilled that so many of you leave me all these kind messages. Thanks again for the suggestions on the tea. I love Christmas tea, and it was a great help to actually have a list to go through and then start ordering some Christmas teas. I do hope that you have something wonderful on your needles, that you are enjoying yourself. And I do hope that I will see you again next week, where I hope to be recording again right before my grandson arrives. So until then, be well, be happy, and keep knitting. Bye.